Hello crafty friends, my name's Alicia, but you can call me Crafty Al. And it is time for a brand new quarterly release from Not Too Shabby. So I am here today to show you some of the goodies I got this month, and we're going to make a couple cute, quick, and easy cards using 6x6 paper with the October 2023 SheetLoad of Cards. I hope you'll stick around and see what I'm going to create. Thank you so much for stopping by today. If this is your first time to my channel, I hope that by the end of this video, you'll be inspired to click on that subscribe button below and ring the bell for notifications. If you're already a subscriber and regular viewer, welcome back. I'm so glad that you're here again. I am honored to be a part of Not Too Shabby's quarterly design team. And this month, today, on the 22nd of October, they have released some fun new products for the holidays. I did get to choose a few to use and share with you, but there are other products that were also released. So I will have what I'm going to show you I got here in a minute, and the other products linked in the description box below if you want to go check them out. For my stamp set this month, I chose the Drink Happy Thoughts. I love the cute little gnomes in the coffee cups, and I also got the coordinating dies. The pattern paper is Brewing It Up, and it has the traditional reds and greens of Christmas, and you have some fun gnomes and coffee cup images added in there. To go along with the paper pad, I have the Brewing It Up ephemera, and this is just a small selection of what you get in the package. It is full of cute little images that would make great accents for cards, tags, and other paper crafting projects. This month, a new stencil is also available. This is the coffee cup stencil designed by Stacy, and it has some coffee cups with some steam coming out of them. So cute for a background. And finally, you know I like to add a little sparkle to my cards, so the Brewing It Up enamel dots will be perfect for that. They're clear at the top, but they have some glitter right above the color in the background. Let's go ahead and take a look at the products and the sheet load that I'll be using for today's cards. This month's SheetLoad of Cards originally calls for 12 by 12 pattern papers, but I'm going to show you how you can adjust the sketch just a little bit and make it fit on the 6 by 6. Also, instead of a sentiment like a stamp there, I'm going to be using a selection of the ephemera for my focal points. I absolutely love this little snow globe, and I thought this sentiment, Brewing Up the Season, and this smaller coffee mug would go well on the second card. From the paper pad, Brewing It Up, I pre-chose these two pattern papers to be pattern paper A and B on my card, and I'm going to be using the red glitter paper from the paper pad to mat these strips that go across here. Now, we won't be doing the background cardstock that it shows here, CS1. Instead, I will be cutting pattern paper A just a little bit bigger. I will most likely also add a little sparkle at the end, so I kept out the enamel dots from this release. And just so you know, if you haven't yet downloaded the October 2023 SheetLoad of Cards, which is a free printable for the subscribers of my channel, I will have the debut video where I tell you how you can download this, and the process video where I show you how I made my first set and give you some special instructions and tips. I will have those both linked in that description box below. Now, as I get into the process, I will tell you about other products and tools that I use, but as always, if I ever leave you with any questions, feel free to leave those in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you just as soon as I can. Let's get crafty! To get started, I'm going to be cutting my two pattern papers and using the single card dimensions from the printable. Now, there is one difference. PPA, instead of being 5 by 3 3/4, it's going to be 5 1/4 by 4. If your pattern paper has a specific direction, make sure to keep that in mind before making the first cut. Mine does, so I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees and cut 4 inches off the top, leaving a 2-inch strip at the bottom. The piece at the top we're going to cut to 5¼ inches wide, and then the piece at the bottom we need one piece that is 2¾ inches wide. Now this does leave some leftovers, and I'll show you later how we'll use those to decorate the inside of the card. I then made those same cuts with my second piece of pattern paper. This one doesn't have a specific direction, but I did go ahead and rotate it before making that first cut. The printable originally called for a piece of cardstock to mat the smallest piece of pattern paper and for the square area for the image or sentiment. But instead of using cardstock, I'm bringing in that gold glitter paper from the paper pad. I just thought it would add a little extra interest. I started by cutting a strip that was 2¼ inches tall and then cut that into a piece that was 3 inches wide. This will end up being the mat for pattern paper B. Also from this strip I need a 2¼ inch square, so I cut that down as well. Then I set that to the side for another card, but that's when I realized I actually need 2 sets of the pieces I just cut. So I brought that back in and quickly made my other 2 pieces. Now I'm going to add pattern paper B to the larger piece of the glitter paper, just trying to get as even border all the way around as I can. Per the special instructions on the printable, this matted piece gets cut to be 2 separate pieces to spread across the front. So we'll be cutting 2 inches from the left or 1 inch from the right. Now, just like in my original process video, I did turn this piece 180 degrees when the pattern had a specific direction, just so I had room to hold that in place with my hands while making the cut. Now all of the main pieces are done, so I could start to put the cards together. I grabbed a couple of my pre-made card bases and I adhered pattern paper A just flat down on the center on the front of each. Originally this did have a cardstock mat and was a little bit smaller, but this is a great time to remind you, SheetLoad is always a great jumping off point for you to make these cards your own. To get those smaller pieces positioned correctly, I brought in my printable, and as long as you print this at 100%, the sketch is the size of the card itself. I held my card base up to the printed card, and then once I added adhesive to the back of each of the pieces, I used that to help me get that lined up top to bottom where it is on the sketch. These pieces go flush with the edges of the card, not with the pattern paper on the card itself. Then I rotated it around and did the same thing for the second side. Doing this helps me get the placement from the bottom of the card almost exactly the same on both sides. Now I'm going to take one of our glitter squares and adhere that centered between the 2 pattern papers that I just put in place. I then used those same steps to complete the second card front. In my original process video, I did show you how you could eyeball putting these pieces on and how you can use a T-ruler. Now it's time to add some focal points to the fronts of the card. Off camera, I did choose which ephemera I wanted to go on the cards. I thought that the Brewing Up the Season got kind of lost in the left card, so that's why I put that and the mug on the right card. Also, while I was off camera, I added foam tape to the back of my snow globe and the little coffee cup. When I placed the snow globe onto the card front, I tried to get as much glitter paper showing as the bottom as it did on the 2 outer pattern papers. Then for the second card, I placed the sentiment piece flat down and then I popped the mug up to the right. Now let's see how we can use those scraps to decorate the inside of the cards. I started by choosing the vertical strip that was the same as pattern paper piece A on the front, and this fit perfectly on the left with a nice border on the outer edges. I placed both pieces on the inside, and then I wasn't quite sure what to do with that larger piece. Sometimes I'll cut these into angled banners or fishtail banners, but these are quite wide and I only needed one for each card. So what I decided is to bring in a circle punch. I think this is right around 2 inches or maybe 1 3/4, and I lined it up at an area on the pattern paper that I thought would look nice on the inside and punched those out. Now when I went to decorate the inside, I wasn't sure if I wanted to cut off one of the edges and, line it up to the left, but I did decide to leave the circle hole and just put it there in the lower left-hand corner. I adhered this with my ATG as well, just to keep the inside nice and flat. Now it's time to finish off the cards with just a little bit of sparkle. Since pattern paper A was pretty busy in the background of the left paper, I decided to add my sparkle with the Spectrum Noir pen. I colored over the glass part of the snow globe. I did have to lift it up every once in a while and let it catch the light to make sure I was covering the entire area, but I thought this added a nice touch. I also decided to add a little sparkle to the mug on the right card, just coloring where the heart is. Then I am going to use some of the enamel dots from the release, and because there's quite a bit of red on this already, I decided to go with the lighter green, and I put a trio on the Brewing Up the Season sentiment piece. And here are some close-up looks at the finished cards. I hope you enjoyed seeing how I put together today's 2 super quick and easy cards using goodies from the latest Not Too Shabby quarterly release. If you did, as always, a thumbs up is appreciated. Until my next video, I hope you're all having a crafty day. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch all the way to the end of the video. I hope now you'll consider clicking on one of the videos or playlists I have linked above. And if you are interested in any of the products or tools I used in today's video, I do have some links in the description box below.